how's it going? Sunny here with the HomeX podcast, where we share with you first-time homebuyer experiences. And I'm very fortunate enough to have my family here today. We have my brother and his wife and my sister-in-law on the podcast today. Thank you guys for joining me.
Pleasure to be here.
How's it going?
Awesome. So let's just get right to it. Can you just share with everyone what you guys do for work?
All right, so I'll start off. My name is Christian. I am actually a manager at In-N-Out, or one of the managers at In-N-Out, and I've actually been with the company for 13 years.
My name is Jessica. I'm with U.S. Bank Private Wealth Management, and I've been with the company for 6 years, going on 7.
Awesome. And you guys are homeowners, right?
Yes.
Yes, correct.
So before we get into your guys' story, I'd love to hear what's one thing that you feel like most people don't know about your job or your company that you feel like would be awesome to share?
One thing that I feel a lot of people don't know about In-N-Out is that there is no secret menu. The secret menu that is posted online, that's it. There's no other additional stuff.
No hot dogs.
There's no TikTok videos that say there's a secret menu. Whatever's posted on the secret menu online, that's it.
Don't believe TikTok. Jess?
And then not a lot of people know that we offer home equity line of credit. Like now that we're on the topic of home ownership, we do offer home equity line of credit. So if you are interested, let me know.
By the way, let me know first because I'm a lender.
Oh, true.
I'm just kidding. All right, so let's head into your guys' journey of becoming homeowners. How long has it been since you guys purchased your home again?
So we had first placed our deposit back in July last year, and then we closed in February of this year.
So we're coming up on 1 year, right?
Almost 1 year.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's amazing. So I'd love to dive in, in terms of before becoming a homeowner, like what were your guys' impressions of the home buying process and the idea of becoming a homeowner?
So my idea of home ownership, I never really had like a real grasp on what it was, but I just knew that it would require me to save an X amount of money. Like didn't really have an idea of what or how much I'm supposed to save, but I knew it was something that I always wanted, and it was a goal that I always had, that I want my own place versus like renting or buying or such and such. It was something that I knew I wanted, but I didn't know how to get there yet.
You guys were in the process of getting married. You were, obviously saving up for a wedding, saving up for the ceremony.
Yep.
And then you made a decision that, like after getting married, we're not going to rent. We're going to save money, stay with our parents for quite some time, and really look at this goal of becoming a homeowner very seriously. And obviously you must have like a big why that really solidified and cemented the decision to become a homeowners, right? So I'd love to dive into there. Like, why was home ownership important to you guys? To be serious and to have a very cemented decision on, we're going to go this path and not renting is huge. What was the end goal for you guys there?
For me, it was to build equity, build generational wealth. There's just a lot of benefits that come with owning your own home. You have your own privacy. You can set your own rules, decorate however way you want it to, without a landlord or
Your parents telling you
where to put stuff or what to do.
Yeah, for me it was mainly like kind of what Jessica was saying, where it's like this is our own place, our own space. Like we have our choices to do whatever we want with the space, like how to decorate, how to arrange certain things, what colors we want, stuff like that. Or for me, putting my PS5 in the living room, or determining what snacks I can eat late night. Those are all like my decisions now. But yeah, it was just, those are one of the biggest things that we saw that we both wanted, is that like we want a place to call our own and be our own home, and then like not have, in a sense, worry about like, is this allowed? Can we do this? Is this gonna avoid something? Like at the end of the day, like we get to come home to our home. Like driving like when we were staying at mom's, just like, yeah, we had our own little space at the house, but that's not our place. No matter what, it's always gonna be mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's a certain good feeling that comes to like when you come home to your home,
Yeah.
So
So it really was about ownership,
yeah,
control.
Yeah.
And then also equity long term. You mentioned generational wealth, right? What do you guys see equity doing for you long term?
Well, when we first came into buying this house, we were already expecting that, after we got a little bit of equity, we would upgrade. But I think that changed for us. I'm trying to stay here as long as possible now because I feel like, we've made this place our home, like you said.
And so to backtrack a little bit too as well, you guys mentioned like in preparation to becoming homeowners, because you guys were saving money, living at parents' house. So you also took it a step further that I thought was pretty interesting. Like most people don't treat it that way. I want to make sure that it's highlighted. You mentioned that once you decided that you were going to become homeowners, you were going to make a monthly payment, quote unquote, to your joint bank account, right? In terms of like, allocating that money every single month. Where did you guys pick that up from?
I think just from work, just talking to, my different coworkers or just clients that have bought a house recently, just tips and tricks of what they did.
Nice.
So yeah, I was advised that we should start putting money away to see if we can actually make that mortgage payment every month and see if we can still live comfortably with this huge monthly payment.
Because it is an adjustment. Like, we're not going to lie, living in California, when you see renting versus owning, sometimes it's like $1,000 more or a little bit more than actually renting.
Yeah.
But the biggest payoff is equity. So once you get acclimated to making the monthly payments, you guys know that you can, become homeowners, and it's really, nothing, right?
Yeah. Like once you get used to it, or like once you already made the conscious decision of like how much you need to put away, and it's like you just get used to having what you have. I know some people call it living below your means, but at the same time, it makes you realize and figure out exactly what you need. Like, what are you comfortable with, and like what stuff was just extra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Let's dive deeper into purchasing a new build, right? How was that process? Because you guys didn't go to one new build and you went to two, right?
Yeah, we did go to 2 new builds. So the first one that we went to was actually before we were married, and it was in Temecula. It was actually next to you or near you. It was the same community.
Yeah.
But what happened there was before they even gave me any like breakdown of like what the monthly was going to be or anything like that, they just told me, can you do 30,000 down right off the bat? And for me, I was just like, wait, we're not even married yet. So it's like finance wise, it's like, like whether or not we had it, and I was just like, we still need to get through the marriage process before like we really commit to buying this home. But that was like kind of a shock for me personally, because I was just like, what? So that was like our first real experience. So that was different for me because I'm not used to that. I'm not used to just being like, here's 30,000, sign me up.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, do you recall any of that, Jess?
I do. I remember we were looking at the model homes one time in Temecula. We got on the waiting list. And then like a few months after that, they had called Ian to go in and sign the papers if we were really interested.
Yeah.
And they wanted 30,000 right then and there. But because it was before the wedding, we we weren't sure if we really wanted to go through with it just yet, just because we still had to get through the wedding.
Yeah.
We still had prior things.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I took Ian aside and was like, hey, did they even, run through the numbers for you? Like, did they show you guys the monthly payments? He's like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it really sounded like it was just bad timing because you had the wedding coming up, and then forking out 30,000 at that point was a bit too much, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, looking back at it, I mean, did you feel some type of way, the fact that they didn't run numbers for you and they were just expecting you to come out with 30,000 to reserve a home?
Personally, I did, because I like knowing information, and it was just, since it was my first home buying experience, it's kind of like when you're buying a car. Like online, you could enter your own numbers, see how much your estimated monthly will be, but then for like when you're buying a home, you can't really do that in a sense, especially because like people have in-house lenders, stuff like that. So I just wanted to know like what would my estimate monthly cost be?
Yeah.
But then I didn't really get that answer. So, but it was unfortunate. you
Yeah.
know.
I don't know if you remember, we also signed up to be on the priority list for the San Marcos new build.
I do remember that.
But we didn't even get to view the model homes in person because they were just really hard to connect with. We weren't able to set an appointment. And Eclipse here in Escondido, they were very, responsive and communicative. So I think that's kind of why we
Lean this way.
towards Eclipse.
And was that during COVID at all?
It was 2021, 2022.
Okay.
It was like towards the end of.
Towards the end of COVID.
Yeah.
Because I know obviously during that time, like during the COVID restrictions, like it was just weird during that time. But not to throw new builds under the bus, like you said, it just really depends on the people that you're dealing with. But it's highly recommended. Like you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to know the monthly payment, even if it's the interest rates or today's interest rates, and not what they're going to be when you guys actually get built out, right? Especially if they're going to ask for a $30,000 commitment. So that was super interesting, right?
Yeah.
So how'd the second go around go with with this new build?
So the second go around, I remember signing up, and then we were just waiting. It was pretty smooth. Like we would keep in touch with them. We'd be like, hey, like how are we looking on the list? And like they would get back to her every now and then. And then fortunately we lucked out and we got called sooner than we thought we were. And then they actually told us a story about it. It was kind of cool, but it was just like we literally got lucky on getting like this phase. And it was just like, for us, it was a perfect spot. Like for me, for what we saw, we were just like, this is perfect.
And ultimately, what was your guys' decision in like picking like a newer build versus, a resale home? I think you guys had mentioned that you were considering putting an offer on a home that's not too far away from here, but it was resale.
Yes. One of the biggest factors for us was location, like convenience and location. Because like for us, we're right next to the freeway. And what we noticed for the place that was resale was it's inland. Like it's not even close to the freeway, multiple stoplights. And it was just getting to it and then getting away from it. Just felt like it took too much time. And just at the time, because we were both commuting to our jobs, that we were just like, this drive's going to kill us just to get to the freeway, first of all. So that was probably like one of our biggest decisions. Our biggest decision maker was location.
Got it. So once again, like you guys, you could have gone the cheaper route in buying resale, but because of the convenience of the new build, you decided to take a higher price point and higher monthly payment just for the convenience, right? And that's all part of the process, like these are things that you find out after getting pre-approved, after working with a realtor. Like you still have to curate your taste when it comes to buying a home. And I think what most people kind of, I guess, pit them against and kind of scare them from making the decision of buying real estate is that they feel like they have to have everything figured out from the very beginning.
No,
right?
You for sure don't.
Right? Can you recall any other factors or things that you considered to actually committing to home ownership and new build that you guys thought about?
Like price point and like what are we like we said, like what are we comfortable with, and like really breaking down what our expenses are. And it's like if we came to the decision that this wouldn't work out for us, then we go for a resale. It was just like that's what I was talking about with like the open conversations that we have. It's like sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, but you gotta swallow it,
Yeah.
With the resales too, when we were looking at homes, homes, condos that were built in like the 1950s, 60s, we were looking at the homes and they still looked like they needed some work. And so I think we kind of decided to go for a new build because it would have been less work. Like we would rather have paid more for a new home than to put money towards an older home and then renovate it a little bit to make it a little bit more livable.
Before it can feel like home does.
As far as like during the process of, being in escrow, waiting for the build, how did that go for you guys?
So we were expected to close in December with the new builds. However, they had some sort of electrical gear shortage and it caused us to close in February. And it was kind of nerve-wracking because we had locked in our rate with our lender for, I believe, do you remember how long
I think it was like 90 days.
90 days.
Maybe
like
60 days.
For 3 months.
Something like that.
And they were able to extend the lock for a couple more months, or I forgot how it went. But we were at a point where we locked in our rate for 4.5%. But then if the rate lock expired, it could have jumped up to 5.5 to 6%.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
So luckily it worked out.
Yeah, that's the challenge with new builds, right? You really can't dictate when they actually close on the home. It kind of just is what it is, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Did it create any other stresses as far as, waiting for the build and extending it besides dealing with the lender?
Not really. Luckily, like we said, we were staying with mom and dad, and they were super supportive, And like for us, we at least knew that we had a place.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there's a chance of us not getting it anymore.
Yeah.
Or like getting like the offer taken away.
Yeah.
Like it was reassuring knowing that we were picked and knowing that our rate was locked in and that we're just waiting on certain items from the building side before we can close, essentially.
Yeah.
So it was like, yes, it sucked waiting, but at the same time, it was a good feeling knowing that we have a place.
Yeah, yeah. Because during that time, especially in 2021, like people were getting outbid. I don't want to say it was hard to get into a new build, but it was still pretty competitive to lock in a lot. You guys just happened to fit their client profile and who they were accepting, right?
Yeah.
I also think that you guys had a trip, right, to Japan right after you closed?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we literally closed, and before we had any appliances or furniture, I mean, we got some of it right before we left for Japan, but we didn't essentially really live in the house till after we got back from Japan.
Yeah. So that didn't create any stress at all?
And not really.
We took our laundry to mom and dad.
Yeah, so we just, obviously,
like we ordered takeout. We ordered takeout all the time, but that was about it. And then as soon as we got like our essentials, I guess you could say, like whether it be like the refrigerator, a couch, a bed, stuff that you feel like you need to live somewhat comfortably before it really becomes your home.
I guess now reflecting into now being homeowners, what is your opinion of the process and being a homeowner?
Just kind of like what we've been saying this whole time, is like this is our own space. This is our home,
Yeah.
Like no one can tell me I can't put my shoes in a certain spot. I mean, she can, but we can agree on where I put them.
Yeah. Jess, anything to add?
I think we came into this thinking that this would just be our starter home, 2-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom townhome. But now that we've, made this place our home, I would feel bad upgrading. I don't want to leave what we've built.
Yeah.
But like coming into it, I was so sure that, this was just like a stepping stone, starter home for like our future forever home. But I feel like we can make this our forever home if we really wanted to, because
it just depends on what the market is.
Yeah.
If the cards are right.
Now, is that influenced just by where interest rates are currently at right now?
No, it's more of like the way we have it set up now. Like I know it doesn't look like there's a lot in the house, but for us this feels like home. Like this feels comfortable. It feels good coming home to it. Like I'm simple, don't need much in the house, you know. And it's like it's just nice seeing like, it's clean, like the walls are clear, or like the only thing I gotta do is mount the TV still, but
I think interest rates play a big role in buying a home. I think we are fortunate that we kind of bought a home like right after COVID, so we kind of got a lower rate.
Has this changed your perception on what real estate can do for you in the future at all?
Yeah, definitely. You send these like weekly or bi-weekly emails, and I like seeing like our equity go up. And it's it's not considering appreciation yet. It's just the money that we are putting in.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For the monthly mortgage. So I thought that was cool.
Would you say was the sacrifice worth it? Everything that you've gone through in terms of, staying with mom and dad, saving, and then making that a priority.
Yes.
Would you say was everything worth it?
It was definitely worth it.
Yes.
Nice.
It was definitely worth it.
What tips do you guys have for potential first-time homebuyers?
Save, but don't be afraid to be honest with yourself on like what you really need and don't need. Like what are your honest monthly expenses, and if you have to reevaluate it. Like don't be afraid to do it. And also, if you're with a significant other, it's a hard conversation to have, but it's one worth having for sure.
Nice.
Because it can help you plan your next vacation even.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so budget, lower your expenses, increase your income. If you are able to stay at a family member's house just to help you save up a little bit more money, then do so. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it is a sacrifice that has to be made if you really want to buy your own home.
Awesome.
Sometimes you just need a good supporting cast.
Yep.
Like whether it be a friend, family, your significant other, someone who just supports your ideas is a huge help.
Now, for this portion of the podcast, random question generator. Let's see what random question that we have here. What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
I drove to Vegas. We drove to Vegas for a Drake concert and drove back.
In less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
So that was off the cuff.
And it was literally our cousin had tickets, asked me, and then I asked her, and she was like, of course I want to see Drake. So then we went. Like, I bought the tickets, we went, and then we drove back right after.
That's insane.
And then, what else?
If it was Friday night, I think it was after school for me and after work for you. We drove, made it to the concert, and then drove back right after because we had work the next day.
But we still got steak and eggs in Vegas.
Was it worth it seeing him?
Yes.
Yes,
It was the Summer 16 tour when it was Drake and Future. And then he brought out some other people.
Division.
Yeah, him. But it was good. It was like I feel like that might have been peak Drake.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for hopping in on the HomeX podcast. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube. Check us out. Thank you guys again for joining in.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Peace.